Hey folks, welcome back to eXplorminate. I'm Battle Mode, and we're going to start playing a new series. This is Conquest of Elysium 4. It's a Fantasy 4X game with some kind of roguelike elements. It's made by the guys who made Dominions, Illwinter Game Design, and it's one of those games, just like Dominions, where it looks kind of simple on the surface, but it's got a remarkable amount of depth in it. The amount of control you have over the game with regards to things like combat at first seems quite limited, but the way that you kind of get into the nuance of the game is through the setup of the combat and choosing your forces. And because there's so much content in this game, and there's so many different kind of units that you can use, loads of different spells. I'm very much like Dominions in that respect. I'm just, rather than kind of wax poetic about it at the start of the game, I'm just going to kind of get into it. So anybody who hasn't really seen this before, I just want to show it off a little bit. I'm not the best player by any stretch of the imagination, but I like playing it. It's just really, really good fun. So the basic premise of this game is that you are one of many factions in a place called Elysium, and you're exploring the land. You conquer like towns, villages and cities. You recruit new forces. You use one of your faction, you use a series of faction spells or rituals and this kind of thing in order to kind of summon special units, and then you take the battle to your enemies. And the idea is just to defeat everybody and win. And it's great. So I forgive you. I must apologise to start off with, because the graphics are quite basic and minimal, and you're probably used to this now after seeing me play Remnants of the Precursors, because it's also got quite simplistic graphics. And I know there are people who just cannot get on with these low graphics games. I apologise in advance for that, but this is well worth it. Graphics do not equate to gameplay as far as I'm concerned. I'd much rather have a game with really crappy graphics than a game with great graphics and just limited vanilla gameplay, which is just so many of them as far as I'm concerned. So let's get on with it. I'm going to put it on a large map. Just like Dominions, Conquest of Elysium has a sort of loose story running through it, and the different societies are different stages of the story that you can play the game in. I'm going to put it on agricultural, which basically means there's going to be less of the wild lands around and more hamlets and villages, basically. So there'll be more places for us to conquer, and the reason for that is I want to play as a demonologist, and we need more villagers in order to get blood sacrifices, which is one of the currencies in the game. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I want 8 players altogether. I'm going to make myself red because I like the colour red, and I'm going to put the difficulty up just a touch. I'm not amazing at this game, but I'm good enough that I can usually easily beat it if I just put it on the basic difficulty setting. Now, if I remember right, I think the difficulty only really changes the starting units that the AI has. I'm not absolutely sure of that, but I'm going to set my faction as Demonologist, and so I'm just going to hover over the info here, and I'll let you guys read this. I won't read it all out. But basically, the Demonologist is, we summon demons. That's what we do, and we're going to attempt to take over Elysium by opening portals to Inferno, which is the Conquest of Elysium version of Hell. So we're going to be pulling demons out of Hell into this fantasy world and using them to sort of hopefully take over the world. The thing is about demons, though, they have a habit of attacking you. And you'll see that. I'm going to make sure that all the AI factions are all random, unique players, so we won't get any duplicated factions, and I'm not going to play with any teams either. So here we go. The game's just generating the world now. We're going to be called Battle Mode, and that's going to be the name of our starting Demonologist. Okay, so here we are, and it looks like. So we've got a shallow sea here, so we're somewhere near the coast, and we've got desert around us. This looks like kind of more arid terrain. So we've got lots of mountains. We've got a guard tower right next to us, which is pretty cool, because the guard tower is another city that we can actually use to recruit units from. So once we've got a good enough income, you can only recruit 1 unit per city per turn, but if you've got multiple cities or multiple unit spawning cities, you can you can use them to spawn new units into. So we've got a series of farms here. Look, and each one of these is giving us 1 gold piece per turn. This hamlet's giving us 2, and the little red seal that you can see, that's a blood sacrifice. So it's a really good asymmetric game, this one. We really like asymmetry in 4X games at eXplorminate, and this one is no exception. All of the factions all have their own different mechanics that they play with, and they usually have a currency that they use in order to generate new units. So you'll see, if we go to our special powers, this is the Demonologist character's special powers. So he's got a bunch of rituals he can use. And you'll see at level 1 we've got Demon Summoning, and then at level 2 we've got Infernal Horde. These are 2 really, really good spells. So, excuse me. Demon Summoning, we get to summon demons, some of the lesser powerful ones, but you have to be careful because if you don't use enough sacrifices, they can turn on you. Infernal Horde is basically the same, except you get loads of them, and there's loads and loads of different types of demons you can get, and you don't get to choose, they're just random. So you can really kind of get a real motley crew together to be bringing along with you. Then there's these lesser Ritual of Mastery, Ritual of Grand Mastery. These all cost increasing amounts of blood sacrifices, but they give you new summoning spells basically, or new abilities. So, and you can change the sacrifice level. So when you're summoning demons, the base cost is 20, but at 20, you run a high risk of the demon not being summoned properly, and it will attack you, and that's really annoying, and it can be fatal if you get a strong demon. So what you can do is you can increase the number of sacrifices. Look, so we could sacrifice 25 instead, and that would make it so that we've got a much higher chance of actually getting that demon. And you can reduce it if you were crazy as well, but I've never ever done that because it's just you don't want to be having to fight the things that you're summoning, especially if you're spending sacrifices on it. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got around us. So we've got this guard tower, which is being guarded by a High Lord, and he's got a bunch of archers with him. Now, they're on a wall, and this is a gate here, so our units won't be able to just charge in here and attack. We'll take a lot of attacks from these archers first, but he's not got much when we get through. Now, that's a bit much for us to take at the moment. Once we've got some demons, though, no problem. You'll see we start with 2 different characters here. We've got myself, battle mode, and we've got Giles, or Giles. Battle mode, the Demonologist. So this is kind of like a tier 2 mage, infernal magic mage. And we've got a bunch of spells here. And the way that... So what I'll do is I'll set this up, and then we'll go into a combat. And just before we go into the combat, I'll explain kind of about basically how it works. Let's have a quick look at Giles, or Giles. Giles is a cultist, so this is kind of the first tier of magician that you get, and once the cultist gets to a certain level, he can, I think it's using these spells, he can level up. Once you've got a few spells under your belt, you can then level up and become a demonologist. And then there's a 3rd tier as well, whose name I forget now. So, okay. Now if we can go to our units. These are all the units that we start off with in the game. So we've got a bunch of swordsmen, and we've got some crossbowmen. Both of these units require metal, so they're kind of precious at the start of the game, so you don't really want to lose them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all. I'm going to make sure that they are coming with us. Now, the NPCs, the natives, or the independents in this game, they move randomly. So if you've got any near your starting citadel, you've got to be really careful not to allow them just to wander in and take it. Oops, I just transferred those to the wrong character. I'm just going to go back a sec. There we go. Let's switch it to battle mode. So let's have a look. So we've got the red areas of where we've already taken. We've got a gem deposit here, which we want to go for straight away because that's going to give us two gold pieces a turn. And we've also got a lion tribe village, which is going to give us some sacrifices and some more gold. Also over here, we've got an oasis. And an oasis gives us some trading power, I think, too. So every turn, you get like an income. So you'll see here, we've got 26 gold coins, and we've got +6 per turn. So that's how many we're gaining. We've not got any metal. And trade basically tells us how many gold that we can switch for one of the other currencies per turn. And if we've got multiple trade, then we can actually trade more. So for example, if we wanted to get metal, we could trade more gold for more metal. And so at the start of the game, that can be one of the only ways that you can get it. Because we're going to be summoning demons, we don't really need a whole lot of metal, so it's not a big thing for us. Now, as I said, this High Lord is going to be a little bit difficult for us to go for at the start of the game. So I think the best thing for us to do is to go for this Lion Tribe. There's only a few of them. They're not very strong. The Lion King isn't the best leader, so we should have a good chance of taking him with our starting forces. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. I want to get these gems, I think. Now, the Oasis is also a good place to go. And, you know, we can actually go and have a look at what's over in this direction too, because this is all fog of war, and it will all open up basically as we expand out. We can only move a few spaces per turn. So you'll see here, these are your action points for each character. These little grey square diamonds, and you can generally in decent terrain you can move one square per action point, but certain tiles like jungle and forest and that kind of thing, mountains, you'll see where if I hover over the mountains, you'll see there's 3 boot tiles there, or 3 boot icons, and that says that it takes actually 3 action points to move into it or out of it. I think it's move into it. So if we were to start here and move into those mountains, that would be all we could do for that turn, and then the next turn you'd move through. Hills are 2 action points, deserts are 2. You see here where it is. Jungle is 3, etc. So I'm going to head up this way, and I'm going to attack these Lion Tribe warriors, and I'll show you what the combat's like. So we're going to move 1. Now I think that desert is going to stop our turn. So I'm going to go straight to the Lion Tribe village. So let's just move into that. And you'll see we've opened up the Fog of War and explored some more territory. And also now there's these crossed swords, which mean that we're going to go into a battle at the end of the turn. Now I forgot to actually take my other cultists with me. That's okay. It doesn't matter. We should have plenty of troops to be able to deal with this battle. So there's not much else we can do this turn. So if we just go to end turn, and it's telling us that we're attacking the independents in a Lion Tribe village. Now I'm going to instantly pause this. So you'll see how basic the graphics are in this game, but as I said, it kind of belies it hides a kind of complexity. So here's our men. We've got some swordsmen, 6 hit points, strength 4, morale 4. I'm not going to go too deep into how all the combat mechanics work. I do have my Conquest of Elysium manual here, so if things do get a bit confusing, we can always delve into that and have a look exactly how everything works. But basically, your units will always hit when they attack unless they're affected by some kind of status. So they'll move forward a turn or 2, depending on how fast they are. Then they'll get to make an attack with all of their attacks. So for example, this swordsman here will attack with his broadsword, and it will hit whatever it's trying to attack. And it does 1 to 6 damage. That means on a d6, on a 6-sided dice, it will score between 1 to 6. So, and you can see that here. Now there's different damage types, and you've got damage resistances. If we click on this, it shows he's got a shield, and this reduces the damage of incoming attacks by 0 to 1. So shielded units, have more defense. Strength doesn't really matter so much in this game. You see at the bottom it says strength is used to break free from entanglements and to resist some stun effects. So high strength is useful when you're against certain foes that use things like web and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't really affect damage. Damage is a function of the attack. Okay, so we've got some Lion Tribe warriors. These are just kind of basic spearmen. They do 1 to 4 damage. They've got an initiative of 6. So the initiative determines who strikes first. The high initiative will strike before attacks with a lower initiative. Okay, now we've also got some crossbowmen, and these guys are going to fire, and they'll fire once every other turn, I think. Yeah, I think crossbows... Yeah, that's right. Only usable once every 2 rounds. They do 1 to 5 damage, and they just hit 1 square. So they've got a great ape here. The great ape can climb, and it's got a fist and a bite attack. The fist attacks, it does basically 1 minus 1. So I think that means it's going to do just 1 damage, and but it pluses 3 So, and this is blunt damage. Then it's got a bite attack between 1 and 5. So that thing gets 2 attacks per turn. Then they've also got a Lion King. And the Lion King is just a standard commander unit. He's just got a mace. He doesn't have any other abilities. And ideally, what we want to do is get through the rest of the units and kill him. So I'm just going to let it play. And go. Now at any point, you'll see we started attacking, and you'll see here, this is the combat log. So Crossbowman attacks with a crossbow. Great Ape takes 4 points of damage. Crossbowman attacks with crossbow. Shield parry reduces damage by 1. So it shows you all the dice rolls. So it's not too mysterious once you start understanding what's going on. But I'm just going to leave it on this sort of slower mode. Now that was a spell. The Demonologist casts Bloodburst. So I'm just going to... I'll show you what Bloodburst does later. Basically, it's an area effect damage. So that actually attacked quite a few of the enemies, and one of the wounds that got that this Great Ape took, it actually got it lost an eye. So you can see that they can get like these like serious wounds. Anyway, I'm gonna let this one play out, and I won't talk too much. As you see, the ranks have closed and they're starting to attack one another. We're going to easily win this, although we have lost a man, which is unfortunate. You don't really want to lose too many at this stage of the game because it's quite expensive to replace him. So the Demonologist cast a spell called Harm on that Lion King and killed him. Okay, so that was that, and we've taken that Lion Tribe village. So that's combat in a nutshell. Now, at this stage of the game, it doesn't look very impressive, right? You just saw these kind of units moving forwards and they all just attacked one another, but it gets dead good because you'll see how there's so many different unit types, and I mean, there's loads of different units. There's loads of different spells, and there becomes a lot of fun in putting these battle lines together so that they're effective against what you've got to fight against. And you'll see that there's a tiger just moved into this part of the jungle here. Other than that, we didn't really find anything. So we've got a couple of action points left. And we're going to move and take this gem deposit. And that's used all our movement points for the turn. We still don't have enough gold to buy anything yet at our citadel, so I'm going to leave that there. The autumn is here, and we've got a recruitment offer, which means we can buy a captain for 50 gold. Now, we haven't actually got 50 gold, so we can't afford that. But generally, every turn, or sometimes you will get special units like leader units that will be offered to you. Sometimes there'll be units like scouts and things that are they give you a special ability in battle. So click on recruit unit, and you'll see this turn there's Panbog the captain. He's turned up, so you can right click in it, which it will give you all the statistics of what the unit's like. And this guy's he's a leader unit, so we can use him to command more armies. Okay, so where do we go from here? Now, we've got a tiger kind of close, so I might want to take him out. So let's move down and then into this jungle, and we'll just take out that tiger. When you've got just small battles like this, often I'll just... There we go, look, so our crossbowman filled it full of arrows, and then we finished it off with a spell. Oh, wow, there's an elephant turned up. Okay. This is a shame now, because we've got a cultist. There's a second cultist turned up, and these guys are really useful. Unfortunately, we can't afford him because we don't have enough money. So we've got 3 elephants. These are too much for us at the moment. Elephants have got an attack called Trample, and they'll basically just charge right through our front lines, and they'll hit everything at the back. So just in one turn, they could just go bosh bosh and go straight through, the swordsman and through the crossbowman, and then they'd be in combat with the demonologist himself, and he cannot deal with close combat. So we want to keep well away from these elephants until we've got some stronger forces. Now we've got a pygmy tribe village here, or a lion tribe village, and there's just a few pygmies. Now these guys have got poison bows, so they're nasty actually. They're not very strong. You see, they've only got 3 hit points each. They've got a low strength, and they only do 1 to 3 damage -1, so they'll do between 0 and 2 damage, I think. Oh no, okay, so the way that the modifiers work is the pluses or minus just increase the amount of the range of the dice that you're rolling. So 1 to 3 minus 1. I think that will mean you'll do between 1 and 2 damage. Yeah, I think that's right. And then the poison damage does between 1 and 5. And poison damage, the way that works is every turn it will split a certain amount of the maximum damage that you're going to do to the opponent. So poison will basically gradually kill your opponents over the turns. It can be really powerful. But we want to keep away from those, and we want to keep away from these for the time being, I think. So let's move our Demonologist back. We'll pick up this other cultist on the way, and then I think we're going to go and check out this side. We'll go and take this oasis. Now we've got 7 sacrifices. We're only getting 2 a turn, and we really want to increase this. So we need to be finding and taking more of these villages. So I'm going to end the turn there. We've got a scout that we can take. I'm not going to bother with the scout yet. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to recruit some more. I think I'm going to recruit some more archers. Let's just see how many men we've got here. Excuse me, I've got a really itchy nose again today. So we've got 5 crossbowmen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swordsmen. Yeah, let's get some more spears, I think. So we can take 5 spearmen for 50 gold. There we go, and that's recruited them into this citadel here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a few. Let's just leave 2 in there. 1, 2. Just so we've got something guarding it, just in case. In fact, I'll also leave. Just got to be a bit careful of this elephant, because they do move randomly, so it will just randomly move into any one of these squares. But we can't. If we lose this citadel at the start of the game, it will be game over. So we've got to be careful. So let's move these guys this way. And we've just taken the oasis, which gives us. Now this is cool because this gives us the ability to actually buy more. Let me have a look here. So I'm just going to remind myself of how the trade works exactly, because it's been a while since I played this. Okay, so I had to consult in my manual because I've forgotten now. So the higher the trade power, basically, the cheaper certain things will be for you. So you'll see here that sacrifices are costing 2 gold per sacrifice at the moment. And it says buying about 6 sacrifices per year for a cost of 12 gold. The higher your trade value, the cheaper things will become. So at the moment I don't want to trade anything because I actually want the money. So I'm just going to roll the turn. We've got some indies moving in up here at the front. Now we're in winter. Usually in colder climes it actually slows your movement down, but you'll notice that because we seem to be in a hot area in the desert, that it doesn't slow our movement too much. So we probably want to go. They've got 2 bandits and 4 slingers. Now missile units are always a little bit difficult to deal with at the start of the game, so we don't really want to. I mean, 4 of them should be okay. They are quite weak. It's not always necessarily the best idea just to go in and fight every indie that you see. You do get experience points and your units will level up, although the bonus they get for leveling up are quite small. But it's more just to stop them from wandering in and taking your towns, because all these things that we've taken, these independent units can actually come in. Now I think we better move back to our citadel because we've got these elephants here, and if those elephants moved in, they could kill us. So yeah, 3 elephants. This is going to be hard for us to deal with at the start of the game. I'm going to roll the turn. So you see that where the elephant was, they actually moved out. They took that farm. So I'm just going to take that back. I do think these are going to be too much for us to deal with. Really, we want a lot of archers and a lot of archers, crossbowmen, and decent magic to be able to deal with that. So I'm just going to move that back and just end the turn again. Yeah, they've moved back in, so it was wise for us to move there. If the elephants attack us where we are here, then we'll easily be able to defeat them because we've got men on these ramparts, and they'll do more damage, the higher up they are, I think. Yeah, I think they actually get a bonus to their dice roll on the damage that they do. So, and it depends on how high the battlements are. So you'll see here, there's these little tower shields next at the bottom of the screen, next to the between the catapult sign and the gold coins, and that shows you how high the walls are and how much of a bonus you get. So these things will not be able to take us out in our own place, but we can't really leave them there. Sorry, we can't leave that empty. We do kind of need to defend this. At the start of the game, I mean, like all 4Xs, it's good to kind of get out and get your economy going. But in Conquest of Elysium, sometimes you do just have to sit around for a bit and defend, because some of these units can be really, really powerful. Like you see that this gore attack that these elephants do, they trample first, and then they'll use a gore attack, and they'll be able to kill most of our units with one hit. You'll see that even the swordsmen, also the crossbowmen, so even the swordsmen, they've got 6 hit points, but these elephants can actually potentially kill them in one hit, so they can do a lot of damage. I'm just going to wait another turn, I think. And you'll see these bandits and slingers have moved into this hamlet, so I'm going to go back in and take that back. Yeah, we've just left a few men in there just in case. So we can also now recruit some more. We can recruit some more archers. I think I'll do that because I think it's going to be archers that will be the key to defeating these things. Oh wow, that the slinger did a lot of damage to one of our crossbowmen. And the Demonologist zapped one in the back lines with harm. Oh, and the Demonologist cast a spell. Oh no, it was the Cultist. Cast a spell called Summon Imp. So there are summoning spells in this game, and they created this Imp character. And these will disappear at the end of the battle, but some of those summoning spells can be really good, because if they cast them every turn, you can end up like really increasing the size of your forces. Okay. So we've not quite got enough yet sacrifices yet to start using one of these spell powers that we've got. So demon summoning an infernal horde. No, we need a few more. We need a few more of these sacrifices first. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and pick up those archers that we just got, and I think I'm going to risk going for those elephants, because we need to get rid of them so that we can kind of move closer. I might leave it one more turn. Oh, they've moved off in that direction now. So I mean, they're going to be moving randomly. They could potentially come back, but I think I'm just going to go and take that one back, so we're getting our income back. I'm going to leave it one more turn before we try to summon some demons, I think. Let's just go and see what's over here. Oh, that was a Pygmy Village. I think we can take this one now. Yeah, the elephants are heading off away. So let's move into this Pygmy Village. Now, we've got to be careful of the poison here. We are going to lose people unless we manage to take them out very fast. Oh, there we go. So you see, I'm just going to pause it. So you'll see this crossbowman now. He's taken poison damage. He's going to die. There's 3 poison. So I think, and he's only got 1 hit point left. So he's going to die. There's nothing we can do about that. So he'll die. Look. So we lost crossbowman, which was unfortunate. But he's taken our oasis. That elephant. Those damn elephants. Okay, so we've got a few more movement points left. I really want to get back there to get that oasis back. But I might just explore a bit more first. Ah, right. We have caught ourselves off guard. So, fortunately, we can recruit some more archers in our home citadel. So, let's just do that. They should be able to take... I don't know. I'm going to move our troops back. Let's just see which is going to be the fastest way. Right, it's just going to be straightforward. Oh, we're unlucky. These elephants are coming. So Hopefully our archers can take these elephants down. I don't know if we're gonna be able to though. And that one's got an injury. Look, it's only a never healing wound, so that's not a bad injury yet. I think we might have lost the game here. Let's see though. Our archers might be able to defend us. Yeah, the elephants don't seem to be doing any damage to our gates. I think it's because they can't really do trample attacks, and the trample won't work on this gate. So, yeah, now they've got battle fright, which has reduced its morale. Yeah, I think we're going to win this. I was worried for a moment there. I thought I'd actually kind of schoolboy errored myself into an early grave. There we go. Okay, so we valiantly defended ourselves against those elephants. Okay, you know what? Talking about elephants being a main foe, it reminds me of that Dwarf Fortress story, Boat Murdered. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they have a problem with elephants in that game, and it's just crazy. Okay, so yeah, these guys will be able to defend us now. There's no immediate threats around us here, so I'm going to go back. I might go back this way and pick up that oasis again. So yeah, so we already had some near game ending excitement. Let's move our way up a bit. Okay, right. So we've got a coal mine with some dwarves. These dwarf arbalests. These are kind of like super crossbowmen. The arbalest does a lot of damage, 1 to 10 damage. They're pretty nasty. I think we're going to want some demons before we can do that. Here we've got a coal mine. So we've got 2 coal mines nearby. The coal mines are going to give us steel. That sounds stupid, but basically this resource here is iron, and you know the coal mines will give you iron for some reason. So and you want iron because you can actually recruit some better units with them. So you'll see here the swordsmen and the heavy infantries and the crossbowmen and the catapult. Some of these high tier units, these all take iron. So we want to get these eventually. Now these Bakemono, we can defeat these, I think. These are one of the races from Dominions as well. Kind of Japanese, ancient Japan themed ghost goblin creatures. We've got these Dai Bakemono, so this thing's quite strong. Yeah, it's got a great sword, so it does a lot of damage, and it's got 2 armor as well. These things haven't got any armor, but they've got a lot of hit points. And then the Bakemono show, these are just tiny little goblin things. They're not very strong at all. We'll be able to beat them. The only thing is that we might lose some men in the process. Okay, there's a cultist available, but I still don't have enough money for it, unfortunately. So, okay, what we can do is now we've built up enough for these sacrifices, so I can actually get some demons. So let's go to use special power. 24. I don't know if anybody's into music production, but that's a famous sample from a really old sample-based instrument, and it's called Orc 5, as in Orchestral 5. And I don't know why, but they've used the Orchestral 5, this famous sample, orchestral hit, for the spellcasting sounds. The sound effects in this game are brilliant. I think they must all be kind of open source sounds, but some of them are great that they use. Okay, so we just managed to summon ourselves a lesser demon, and the lesser demon is cool because it's got 4 attacks. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's pretty strong, and it does 4 attacks with these tentacles. And I'll let you read the blurb. Like, more so than Dominions, there's a sense of humour in Conquest of Elysium that is just really cool. They've really, like, Dominions is played with a straight face, but Conquest of Elysium's kind of, they've put some fun, some kind of gags in there. Okay, so we're going to go and attack these Bakemono in this coal mine. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to take most of these out with our crossbows before they get too close. But you'll see these things are a lot stronger. Now we're into melee, we're probably going to start taking some damage. Oh wow, yeah, look. Right, so these all back in mono. These guys do a lot of damage, but fortunately they decided to attack our lesser demon. Although we managed to kill some of our own men with that spell there. Okay, so those guys are done. We've picked up a chest wound, which is strength reduced by 1 and maximum hit points reduced by 20%. So this guy's a little bit weaker now, but it's okay. This is what happens. You generally can't heal units in this game either. So we've now taken the coal mine, and that's given us some... we finally got some iron coming in. And it also gives us a little bit of a boost to our gold as well. Okay. I'm going to end the episode there, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm interested to know what you think of Conquest of Elysium 4. It's probably not going to be a very long game, a very long series, but it should be long enough that we'll be able to get to see some of the content. And it seems quite unassuming at first, but the game's got loads of content. It's got a surprising amount of depth, so you'll find that later on some really crazy things are going to happen in this game that just make the whole thing so enjoyable. So yeah, bear with it and let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take it easy.